All right. Unhinged Elden Ring DLC clues. November release? That's troubling. I was hoping it would release next year. But if it comes out in November, I mean, that's okay, I guess. Okay, let's see what Soustorm has to say.
Alright, what's going on, guys?
Not
2023
much.
has been a bit of a quiet year, at least so far, when it comes to major From Software news. We of course had the Elden Ring DLC announcement back in February, and then a gameplay trailer for Armored Core, which is going to be releasing in August, and that's about it when it comes to public news. But if you've been around a long time, you know that silence and From Software go hand in hand, and trying to predict their next move is like playing darts with a blindfold on. But it's something we've done a lot.
And I'm gonna be honest, I think that's for the best that they're not just talking the shit up about their games. They just release something and they're like, hey, I hope you like it. They're not like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that and then this is coming out then. I mean, oops, actually it's not. It's actually gonna be pushed back 6 months. Oops, gotta push it back again. I prefer it when game companies are quiet
Here on the channel, and in all fairness, we have a pretty good track record, and today is another one of those days. We're going to be diving back into the depths of speculation, trying to get a prediction of when we think Elden Ring DLC is going to be announced and dropping, because we do have some new rumors to discuss, and it could point to a release date a lot sooner than we expected, and we're going to break it all down here today. But as we get into that, let me remind you guys that the channel is getting super close to 100k subscribers, and we will be doing a big giveaway once we reach that goal. So if you want to stay up to date on all things Elden Ring, Armored Core, and From Software, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Dude.
And now let's get into it. Since it's been a long time since we talked about this topic, let me go ahead and get you up to speed on some of the context of Elden Ring DLC leaks and rumors that we've had since it was announced. A few days after the image was originally tweeted out and we heard the DLC was in development, a leak emerged claiming to have the release date for Armored Core 6 and also stating that the Elden Ring DLC would be releasing after Armored Core. That leak would then go on to be corroborated by multiple other sources and then lead to a string of leaks about Armored Core 6, all of which turned out to be true. But we never got a full confirmation if this exact leak was true or not. But then about a month later, we actually got some official news. Although not publicly revealed, there was a new update to the LinkedIn page of one of the heads at From Software, revealing that Shadow of the Erdtree had been planned and in development since at least January of 2022, which is a very long time for a DLC. And just to give a little bit of frame of reference, all of the Dark Souls games.
Okay, I just want to say, is a year to make pretty much an entire fucking game a long time? Because Elden Ring is so in depth. They're probably building a huge new world section for it. They've got to do all of the writing. They've got to get all of the voice work done. It's so much work. Why would anybody expect a DLC, especially if it's going to be one really big DLC, to be, a year seems like a short time. Even though technically I guess it would be like a year and a half, because it was start of last year. Oh, I fucking love Souls games, Void. I love them so much. They're so fun. The worlds are so beautiful and well thought out. They're amazing. I love them. And that seems really quick, right? That seems really friggin' quick. If it was set in the same world and they weren't building a new map and stuff, okay, sure. But at the same, they're probably building a whole other fucking, it won't be as big. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty bad at playing video games and I still manage to get through. They're not that hard. They're hard, but they're not that hard. They're not unbeatable. It's just you just gotta throw yourself at it.
Games only had about a 2 to 3 year development cycle. Fast forward a few weeks after we got that, there were a lot of new interviews from Software development since at least January of 2022, which is a very long time for a DLC. And just to give a little bit of frame of reference, all of the Dark Souls games only had about a 2 to 3 year development cycle.
See, that seems insane to me. Elden Ring comes off as a game that took 5 years to make because it's just so big, and for a big open world game like that, there were next to no glitches. I had only a couple glitches. It wasn't like I was playing Skyrim back in the day. on my Xbox 360. Like, I'm sure. So Elden Ring only took like 3 years to make? I don't. That's a lot. That's crazy. Although they're hiring a few. Well, they have a few different teams now and working on a bunch of new projects. Either way, that's crazy. That's so cool.
Fast forward a few weeks after we got that, there were a lot of new interviews from Software talking about Armored Core 6, as well as the company as a whole, and in one of those interviews, Yasuhiro Kitao, one of the main producers at From Software, stated that the company is aiming to have shorter gaps between their game releases, stating we do develop multiple titles simultaneously,
Okay.
we do have several teams working on different projects, and we hope to stagger our releases and bring something new and exciting at hopefully not so long intervals going forward.
Cool.
And then shortly after, we got some more official information. In the Kanakawa financial report for the fiscal year of 2023, Elden Ring DLC was listed in the medium to long-term direction goals, and not in the section covering the 2024 fiscal year, pretty much confirming that original leak we talked about, that Elden Ring DLC was going to be releasing after Armored Core. Now, one thing I forgot to mention a while ago when we talked about this, was that since it's not in the 2024 year goal plan, that doesn't mean it couldn't come out within the next year. All that means is that they can't publicly reveal the release date, which putting it in that section would inadvertently do. But all of that is pretty much where we stand at the moment, which brings us to the rumor of the day. And it comes from some very unusual patterns on SteamDB. For those of you that are unaware of what SteamDB is, this is a place where you can see internal work done on the PC builds of games. So whenever developers upload new files to test out in things like playtesting or update for future versions of the game, you can see all that here. Now let me preface this with a few things. This is not a leak, this is not insider info. All of this is publicly available, and anyone can check it at any time. Now, while all this data is official information, interpreting it can be very tricky. Although we've used it to accurately predict many updates, as well as the Colosseums and ray tracing, this is not a very reliable source, and I'll tell you why. We can recognize patterns inside the data that tend to precede things like updates or DLCs, but there is absolutely zero guarantee that the outcome will happen after those patterns, which is why what we're about to discuss can't be considered anything more than a speculative rumor. Basically, they can make the changes at any time, but that doesn't mean it's about to go public anytime soon. So with that disclaimer in mind, let's look at this new one. Tess Lobo over on Twitter put out this tweet back in January. Regarding recent Elden Ring DLC murmurs, I wouldn't hold your breath. FromSoft keeps a rating build on SteamDB that gets an update to herald the coming of a DLC. This was true for both Dark Souls 3's DLCs, and it was true leading up to the Colosseums. Watch for this specific one. Well, that change has happened. 10 days ago, we saw the removal of the old rating release build, and we can see here that it is the exact same depot that signals that pattern. But do keep in mind, while these are good indicators, it isn't a guarantee. But what exactly are we looking at here? They do explain under that tweet that while they're not 1000% sure exactly what it is, rating release likely means that it's the build getting sent off to be reviewed to maintain that it still has the same rating. And we can see here that this was far from the only depot that was removed. In fact, a lot of the ones that were updated in 1.09 to introduce ray tracing were also removed. So if I had to guess what was going on here, and again, I'm no game dev, I'm only speaking from what we've seen in the past on this looks like a big game overhaul to me, which of course DLC would be. Now to kind of put this in a pragmatic picture, if all the interpretations here are correct, this could indicate that the DLC is entering the final stages of development, the final playtesting and quality assurance, as well as making sure it maintains the same rating as the game. So on a very rough timeline, according to the tweet author, the pattern holds that the trailer would drop in September with roughly a November release. But let me clarify this one more time before we start jumping. SteamDB changes are borderline astrology. There is absolutely no guarantee that the pattern will hold true, but nonetheless, it is a pattern, which is why this is nothing more than some unhinged speculation. To go even further down the rabbit hole though, would that even make sense? At first glance, it sounds way too soon and way too close to Armored Core to be a possibility.
It does sound pretty soon.
But that might actually not be a problem. Because remember how I said predicting from software marketing is like throwing darts at a dartboard with a blindfold on? Well, there have been some very strange marketing patterns going on recently that don't make a whole lot of sense. As it stands right now, we are under 2 months away from the release of Armored Core 6. A game that is going to be rebooting a very niche franchise and making a massive breakaway from the company's core audience. Now, when I think about that, if I were trying to sell this game, I would do everything in my power to introduce it to that unfamiliar audience.
Dude, that's definitely why they're making this Armored Core seem more Dark Soulsy. Because I did watch some gameplay from some of the other Armored Core games, And yeah, it does look fairly different, but this definitely looks like they added some aspects of it. And the main reason why I want to play it is because it's a mech that is Souls-like. Or, well, it is Souls, in a way. You know what I mean? Mech Souls? Fucking sign me up. Oh my god.
There is virtually zero marketing for Armored Core going on right now. We did have the influencer marketing campaign that happened at Summer Games Fest.
No, astronomy is science. Astrology is crystal bitch territory. Yeah, no, astronomy and astrology are two very different things. They're intertwined in a fantastical way, but they're different.
But the vast majority of the footage was only shown behind closed doors. By this point with Elden Ring, we had already gotten hands-on with the game, but when it comes to Armored Core 6, we still have no idea how this game is going to play, and the community continues to argue among itself because of that confusion. From an objective standpoint, right now Elden Ring is getting more marketing than Armored Core, with a massive summer sale going on, new infographics given out to the community, and a big fashion contest for some custom controllers.
Oh, it's
if
beautiful.
Elden Ring was such a big concern to overshadow Armored Core, then this probably isn't something they would be doing at the moment. This whole marketing situation is just very weird to me. It's incredibly unorthodox. And while I have absolutely zero doubt that Armored Core 6 is going to be an amazing game, it does cause me to worry about its sales. But that's a topic we'll probably tackle in another video. The main point I'm trying to show here is that we can't rule out the possibility, especially given the context of all the leaks and rumors we talked about earlier. It could be entirely possible that From Software knows Armored Core 6 is not going to sell as well. It could compensate for those dropped sales with the Elden Ring DLC. Ultimately, we're just gonna have to wait and see on that, and should get a clearer picture on all that in the next Karakawa report, which will be dropping in August. But I just wanted to cover this today because I thought it was interesting and I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on it. But again, do keep in mind this is nothing more than a speculative rumor, so as always, take it with a grain of salt. Either way though, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on it. Of course, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Subscribe if you're new around here, and with all that, I will catch you in the next one.
Damn, see that damage at the end there? Just straight up fuck that guy up. I honestly do hope it comes out next year, simply so that I have enough time to play all these games. I don't know what my stream schedule is going to look like. There's a good chance that I'm not going to be playing several of these games online. Maybe. If I have time and I'm awake, because I'm gonna be working like during the day. Like 4 or 5 days a week. Actually, no, like 5, 6 days a week. And, like I might just want to go home and eat and like pass out or whatever. But if I can squeeze in an hour here and there, I might do random logins. I might consider doing random logins because there are so many games, but we'll see. We'll see what I have time for. We'll see what I have energy for. I do want to try and do day streams on Saturdays and Sundays, but we'll see. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that'd be cool. It's just a matter of, will I have the me time, or like is Gigi gonna want to hang out with me every day? So it's probably gonna be pretty random, you know? It would be like logging in at like 8 until 10 or 11, something like that. And we'll see how that goes. You know what I mean? So just like logging in for a few hours. So I would probably have like a dedicated Saturday and Sunday where we spend a couple hours watching stuff, and then a couple hours gaming. And then, like, the random logins during the week would just be gaming. Like, I would just log in with the game already loaded up, pretty much. Ready to go. Bam. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.